Hey guys, my light just went out, but this one's working, so we're gonna call it a day there. Let's talk about the new Little Mermaid. Let's just talk about it really quick. Hi to all the new subscribers. Welcome. Please subscribe. We're on our way to 2,000. It really helps me out a lot. I don't know what I'm going to do. I almost quit, but we're not going to do that yet because I love doing this, and I really appreciate everybody who reached out. But I'm sorry for the hiatus. But let's talk about the Little Mermaid. I really enjoyed this. Now, I am very aware that Disney is just doing very quick cash grabs with these things. I'm extremely aware of that. I think that redoing all of these live actions it's just for money. That's all it is. But as long as I'm having fun and I have a good time, I don't mind it. I had a really good time watching this. I thought it was fun. I thought it was good. I didn't mind them changing up Ariel. And anybody giving this girl a bunch of flack, you're a fool. She was a great Ariel. And I'm going to argue that not only was she a great Ariel, she caught the spirit of Ariel. Like, you knew it. Like, you could see it in her eyes that she was just this fun, bubbly girl, and I loved her as Ariel. She was great. I do think, and I loved the design of all the daughters with Triton. I love that. My issue is I feel like making them all different, which I thought was really cool and really awesome, but then you were trying to kind of have a cop-out there, but then they had diversity all through this movie, so I think that's cool. I think representation is very important. If you've been over here, I talk about that extensively, but I'm not going to harp on it here. I thought she was a great Ariel. I loved the costuming in this. I loved it. It was pretty and flowy and great, and I loved it. Now, this is an issue, I feel like. I feel like Ursula was forgettable, when normally it's like, poor unfortunate souls, man, I'm coming out hard. She did fine, she did good, but it was just meh, you know what I'm saying? And that's not a huge knock against it, but it's like, okay, and that's one of the greatest villains Disney has. One big issue I did have, the reason that The Little Mermaid is different from other Disney musicals, like I was using this as an example when I was commenting on it, watching it. I'm going to use the song Bonjour from Beauty and the Beast, for example. We know that Belle doesn't hear all these people singing at her. You get what I'm saying? We know that the town talks about her, and it's moving the story forward like a musical should, but we know the vibe, but she doesn't exactly hear them singing. You know what I'm saying? The Little Mermaid, no. The music is very much a part of this world, no pun intended, but literally it's a part of this world. And they're actually singing at her, and they're actually singing these messages at her, and she's actually singing out loud. That's the whole thing. And they kind of just chalked this up to, and this is what irks me with movies, is when they just assume you should know something. Not everybody knows that sirens and mermaids are an evil thing to sailors. Like, their voices can hypnotize you. Not everybody knows mythology and stuff. So when they just have a line of dialogue that they don't emphasize enough, that irked me, because that beginning of her not being at the opera in the original is why it's what establishes, like, oh no, all of them sing. Singing is a part of this world. And they cut that out for just like a meeting between the daughters. And like I said, at first I was like, if you make them all different, you're kind of taking away from the fact that a black actress was cast as Ariel, but then they did make up for it. And like I said, I loved her as Ariel. She was bubbly, she was fun, she was great, loved her. But taking that scene out changed the whole kind of thing for me. And then I was like, are they going to emphasize this siren thing? And they do say it, but they don't emphasize it. And that irked me a bit. I thought her singing was great. I thought Part of Your World, she knocked it out the park. Some of the imagery in this was taken from the original, but they did it in live action so well that I was like, oh man, this is sick. This is really cool looking. I didn't mind it not looking as good as like an Avatar and looking a bit more cartoony. That didn't irk me because it's from a cartoon, and I thought it was beautiful and magical and great visually. Now, the one song you needed to hit hard, because it goes hard, is Under the Sea. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you are. I don't care where you are. Under the Sea is a jam of a jam. I don't care if you've never even watched Little Mermaid. You know Under the Sea. The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. It's a jam. It's such a jam. But that's an ensemble song. That's everybody singing and going at it, and to change it to just Sebastian and then just Ariel singing it to each other, I feel like took away a lot of the oomph it had. And I needed those visuals coming at me. And this is where these live actions suffer. And this is where Beauty and the Beast, I feel like, did it right with whatever you feel about Beauty and the Beast. But like Be Our Guest, they said, screw it. We're going balls to the wall, imagery crazy, fireworks going off, nutso. And that's what it needed to be. It's a great number. Under the Sea needed to do the same thing, and I felt like it didn't hit as hard. That's the only song that I'm really going to gripe on, because it's such a jam. Because it's such a jam. It's the jam of jams. It's in top tier jams of jams. And it's so good. Now, I'm starting to realize this because I'm going to do a tier list of the live actions, at least the princess ones. I realized that they kind of elongate all of the songs out in all of these to like draw out the runtime. And I'm like, stop doing that. Hit the notes. Let's go. If you're going to redo it, redo the songs right. You know what I'm saying? Now, all the other ones I thought were great. People really hated that Scuttlebutt song. I liked it, but I like the word scuttlebutt. And I like them playing with the name Scuttle. That's why the name is Scuttle. And I thought that was fun. And I thought Scuttle and Sebastian were fun. I thought all the acting in this was very good for what it is, okay? But I thought it was, I mean, I don't think it's the best live action, but I think that it's one of the better ones they've done. I thought King Triton in the sea at the end was a little crazy. Also, everybody would have went ballistic. All of these people were talking about how separate their worlds are, and then at the end, all of a sudden, we got a bunch of mermaids sitting on the rocks with regular people. People would have been losing their minds. So that was a little shoved in there. But I get it. It's a kids movie. I'm not going to go crazy. But my issue with all of these has been like, if you're going to go hit for hit with a scene and do it the exact same as before, why aren't you doing the songs the same? I don't get that. Oh, I liked Eric. Eric was always kind of an idiot. And I felt like people were really harping on that, like, oh, the man is a moron. And I'm like, no. And that's the thing, too, is I feel like so many people, especially with the Snow White thing coming out, a lot of people jump on the bandwagon of like, everybody hates it. And it's like, no, you're just using it and blowing it up into more than what it is. I do think there are issues with Snow White. That's not what I'm saying here. But, like, even when this was coming out and people were going, oh, man, it's all about men can't do nothing. And it's like, no, that's not what they're saying at all. And I'm sick of people putting down, even including women, taking femininity and saying that's a negative is. I like it when they make femininity a strength. You feel me? I mean, I'm wearing a Sailor Moon shirt. I do. I like that. And I feel like Disney is trying to toe this line of like, we're trying to do right, which I can respect, and everything does take time, but also you don't always have to take everything out. So I was happy because I really did. I thought they pulled Kiss the Girl, and they didn't. And that's a jam, too. That's a great song. And I thought they did that really well, and I thought that was a fun little bop. And when I say these things, I'm talking about visually, I'm talking about all of that, and I thought it was good. I didn't think the Scuttle song was the greatest thing I ever heard, but people were really hounding that online. They were like, oh my God. And I was like, I thought it was fun and it made sense and it moves the story forward. And that's what songs in a musical do. If they don't, there's no point in them being there. But yeah, Eric was a little dumb, but he's a little dumb in the animated one too. And I wouldn't even call him dumb. I would call it young. And one thing that I did think was a little strange was she's a hoarder, he's a hoarder, but they're both hoarding things from each other's worlds. And I was like, are you fetishizing each other? That's kind of a little odd. But then I'm like, it's a kid's movie. Go away. Thoughts? I'm shocked more people didn't go nutso about his mom being black. That was wild. I was like, oh man, you guys really went there, and I can appreciate that. Because like I said, diversity and representation is important. I don't care if you're a dumbass and you don't understand why, but it is. And if this movie isn't for you, why don't you just stop crying about it? How about that? But Scuttle and Sebastian got some genuine laughs out of me, for sure. And like I said, Ursula is just kind of forgetful. The imagery during Poor Unfortunate Souls, very cool. That was cool. I like the bioluminescent thing they did with her design. That was cool. But the song, like I said, they elongate the words out. They elongate the beat out a little bit. And I'm like, no, this needs to hit harder. And it was fine, but it wasn't the Poor Unfortunate Souls that we know and love. And I'm like, they keep doing this. Like I said, I watched them, a couple of them back to back to back. And I'm like, they keep doing this like spread it out thing. Don't do that. I liked her pulling the scale out instead of writing it. That was all cool. It was fine. But the fact that I'm not honing in more on your villain, I feel like is a bit of a problem. Because it's such an iconic villain. And I'm like, meh. But the woman who had the performance playing the woman she turned into on land, what's her name? Vanessa or something? Damn, she was like physical and going crazy. And I was like, wow, you're doing a really, really great job. I was kind of shocked they took a song away from her because she sings in the original. I watched the original after. She sings in that, and that's how we found out information. But they still find the information on this, but I felt like it was a little shoved. I felt like it was a little shoehorned, like bing, bang, boom, let's go. And I kind of didn't like that. And I thought there should have been a little bit more there, but I don't hate it. But whoever that actress was, she killed it. She killed it playing Ursula, not Ursula. You know what I'm saying? I liked seeing Ariel dancing. Like, if you remember, that's what she says in the lyrics. She wants to go dancing and stuff. And then when they go and do that on their little day date, I loved all that. I thought it was adorable. I thought it was well done. I thought it was cute. Really liked all that. I thought visually it was very good. I really liked this a lot. I liked them placing it like in the Caribbean type deal. I really liked all of that. And visually it was good. I loved, what's her name? It's Halle Bailey, right? And I thought this was really good for her. I thought all the acting was done well. I really did. But like I said, it was more of like a pacing issue at certain times. But like I said, I'm not going into this thinking I'm watching Citizen Kane. I know it's a soulless money grab from Disney. I'm fully aware. For live action remakes go, I would put this maybe at the number 3 slot. Maybe. But yeah. I'm Abby with Motor City Nerds, and tell me what you thought about this. And I'm on OF, I'm on TikTok, I'm on all the things down below. And yeah. I don't understand, especially when it's like grown-ass men teeing off on the internet, where I'm like, you're just a grifter. You're just a grifter yelling about some shit. Shut up and let somebody enjoy something. But then that's a whole other argument I have of like, a lot of times when it's something little girls like, it is heavily attacked and heavily criticized. And that is something society does and needs to get away from doing. Look at Barbie. Look at Sailor Moon when it was on. Look at all those things. And even performers, Taylor Swift, Britney Spears back in the day. Like, those things are like hated on and joked on and made parodies of, and Frozen and Little Mermaid, and these things are really attacked by society. And it's like, why don't we stop putting down what little girls like? That'd be really cool. And if you think something has an agenda, you psychopath, step off. It ain't for you. It was fine. It was fine. But it was visually a great time, and it was a fun thing to be looking at. I loved that. And I loved her performance. And anybody hating on that is just a lame.